Advanced Academic Resource Teacher here at Holly. And joining me is our lovely assistant principal, Ms. Zamora.
Hello, everyone.
And tonight we're going to be discussing screening and identification for full-time advanced academic services, which you might also know as Level 4 services. This presentation will provide you with the information about how current FCPS students are screened for full-time advanced academic services. In Fairfax County, we believe that all students deserve an excellent education and that students learn best when educators, parents, and students work together as partners. We also believe that when schools and families have high expectations for achievement, students will rise to meet the challenge. All students have unique strengths and interests, and we work hard to provide opportunities for students to use their strengths and pursue those interests. So our two goals with the advanced academic program are to develop the talents of all students and provide academic challenges through differentiation to meet the needs of advanced learners. So talent development in our schools, our focus on this reflects our beliefs that all students need opportunities to work with rigorous curriculum and to go deeper in areas of strength and interest. Students need opportunities to develop ownership of their learning through reflection, goal setting, and identifying their areas of interest. And while we recognize the importance of talent development for all of our students, we also know that support services like those found in our Young Scholars model are important to identify and nurture students in groups of historically underrepresented populations and gifted programs. So when we talk about differentiating to meet the needs of all advanced learners, that reflects our beliefs that all students should be met by name and by need. FCPS AAP offers a continuum of services to provide multiple entry points so that all students access the level of service that meets their cognitive and affective needs. Our goal is to ensure that all students have access to a research-based, differentiated curriculum and academic peer group. This is an overview of the continuum of advanced academic services offered in Fairfax County Public Schools. The district provides opportunities for all students to develop talents and work at a level of challenge that best meets their needs. For more information about AAP services in kindergarten through grade 12, you can review the recording of our previous session giving information about the levels of services. This presentation will offer some frequently asked questions about the screening and identification process for full-time Level 4 advanced academic services for students in grades 3 through 8. Please note that screening for Level 2 and 3 services uses a similar holistic screening of multiple data points, but this process happens entirely at the local school. Screening for Levels 2 and 3 is more flexible in deadlines for referrals than Level 4 services, because Level 4 is screened by trained committees at the district level. So the first frequently asked question we're going to address are what are full-time Level 4 and AAP services? So advanced academic program provides levels of service. So the full-time services happen in the Level 4 program. So FCPS believes it's important for all students to have access to AAP strategies, which is available in Level 1. However, some learners may need a different placement to have access to a full-time program with a different place and a pace and a different intensity of access. Curriculum used in all levels of AAP is from the same menu, but Level 4 services use the curriculum in all subjects on a full-time basis. Full-time services provide a curriculum with increased depth and complexity in language arts, social studies, science, and mathematics. Mathematics instruction is at least 1 year above grade level when receiving full-time advanced academic services. So our focus of the meeting is how can my child be screened for full-time AAP services? So there is a screening process to find out if a student needs a separate placement to meet their needs. Families, teachers, Administrators or any others who know the student may submit a screening referral form. This form may be turned into the school from the first day of school until the deadline of December 15th. Referrals will not be accepted after the deadline. Ms. Zamora, would you please put the link to the referral form in the chat?
Yep, it's in there.
Thank you. How could my child be screened for full-time AAP services? Some students will automatically be screened based on ability test information. This is called the grade 2 screening pool. Being in the second grade pool does not mean that a student will be eligible. It only means that they will be automatically screened. Testing is only one of the many pieces of information that are considered when matching student services and determining if a different placement is necessary to meet a student's needs. Parents should submit a referral form if they want to ensure their student is screened for AAP. What part does ability testing play in the screening process? So best practices in matching students to AAP services includes looking at the whole student. So ability testing is just one of the several data points considered in student portfolios. Ability testing is not weighted more than other items in students' portfolios. How do students get ability test scores? So all FCPS students take ability tests when they're in first and second grade. This testing is referred to as universal screening. These tests are different than achievement tests that measure what a student has learned. Instead, these are tests of a student's reasoning ability compared to other students of the same age. There's no preparation required to capture a valid score for these types of tests. All first grade students take the Naglieri nonverbal abilities test. All second grade students take the cognitive abilities test. Each year, FCPS publishes a testing calendar and schools send notices to families to let them know when their student will be taking each test. So due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, select students in grade 3 will also take the cognitive abilities test, the COGAT, during the 2021-2022 school year. Students may be included in the grade 2 screening pool based on their scores on either of these tests. Schools will automatically create screening files for all second grade students who are in the pool. For students in the second grade pool, a referral form is not required, but parents often choose to write a referral form in order to provide additional information for the file. I can share information about what other optional materials you may add to the screening file. If your child is in grade 2 and is part of the screening pool, you will receive a letter from the local school to let you know that your child will be screened for full-time services. You may decline if you would not like your child screened. What is the family's role in the screening process? Your input is very important to the screening process. You have information about your child that us as a school might not have. There are several ways families can support the screening process, and the following slides will explain some optional materials that you could add to the screening file to help the screening committee better understand the child. So the way to start the screening process for AAP is to submit the level 4 referral form, which Ms. Zamora put in the chat, to the school. The referral form is required for students who are not in the grade 2 screening pool. A referral form is recommended but not required for those in the screening pool. After we receive the referral, we will create the screening file. If you would like to add optional materials to the file, you should submit them to the school along with the referral form. Now we're going to look at some examples of optional materials that families can choose to add to the student's screening file. The first material we're looking at is the parent guardian questionnaire. This is an optional questionnaire, and it's one way of sharing information about your child with the screening committee. For example, you could share how your child surprises you with knowledge displays a sense of humor unusual to their age, or focuses on a particular topic. It's helpful to provide specific examples of what your child has said or done in each category. Ms. Zamora, would you please put the parent questionnaire form in the chat? Thank you. And that's the link for that. And we will reshare all of these links with you. So if you're having trouble opening them while you're in Zoom, we'll make sure that you get those. So continuing to talk about the parent guardian questionnaire. One way to let the committee know about your child is through the last question on the questionnaire. Does your child have a special learning need that you want the committee to know about? This is where you could share information about a learning disability, autism spectrum disorder, or ADHD. The school may not provide information about 504s and IEPs to the screening committee. This can only be provided at the parent's request. One way to let the committee know about your student's needs is through the parent questionnaire. If a student is found eligible for level 4 full-time services, the accommodations from their IEP or 504 plan will continue to be used in the student's programming. Families may also submit up to 2 pages of work samples that showcase the child's ability. Consider what work samples might provide evidence of the student's ability to think critically and creatively, reason, and problem solve. So the example we have here is a vehicles of the future drawing. There's a tree recovery truck and an urgent fire response unit. These drawings are colorful and labeled, and it shows critical and creative thinking. Please follow these guidelines for any student work samples that are submitted. Your work samples may be on 2 pages maximum. The pages must be single-sided, 8.5 by 11 inches. We cannot accept three-dimensional or electronic work samples. Multiple pages may be copied to 1 page as long as they can be read easily by committee members. We're going to limit that to 2 pages per page. You can submit copies or originals, but know that your work samples will not be returned. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, we are going to accept work samples in PDF or JPEG or PNG files. And it's helpful on the work sample to write a brief description on this, noting what you would like the committee to notice. When submitting work samples, it's most helpful for them to be in areas such as reading and writing, science, social studies, and math, because although art samples can show creativity or a strong sense of design, please keep in mind that this is an advanced academic program. The committee will be looking for evidence of exceptional critical and creative thinking, reasoning, and problem solving. Exceptional means that at that time, it stands out compared to students of similar age, background, and experience, and may require more frequency or access of different grouping to ensure continued growth. It is important that data points considered in the screening portfolio are equitable and accessible to all students. For that reason, our focus is on student work samples. Starting in 2020, letters of recommendation and awards were discontinued as a screening element. Families may submit additional ability or achievement test reports if they wish. Achievement tests include scores that show strengths in academic areas such as reading or math. Abilities tests assess abilities in thinking and problem solving. A parent may seek private ability testing through a state licensed clinical psychologist or through George Mason University. If testing was not done at GMU, a copy of the clinical psychologist license must be included along with the full report. If you have ability or achievement tests from another school district where your student attended, you may also include this information. What will the school do to support the screening process? So the local school committee is responsible for creating the screening file. The local committee includes teachers, the AART, an administrator, the school counselor, and any other staff who know the student. The local school does not make level 4 eligibility decisions. The local school gives the completed file to the central screening committee. The next slide will explain the materials schools will include in the file. So our committee will include the following required items in the file: the screening summary sheet, the gifted behavior rating scale with commentary, progress reports from this year and last year, a test data sheet with FCPS test scores and a maximum of 6 work samples, including those submitted by the parents or guardians. We must provide at least 2 samples of work done at school. So the school-based committee that knows your child well will complete the gifted behavior rating scale to provide evidence of gifted behaviors observed in school. They will note how often the school demonstrates exceptional ability to learn, application of knowledge, creative and productive thinking, and motivation to succeed. Exceptional behaviors are behaviors that stand out when compared to students of similar age, background, and experience. Teachers will consider how often they see behaviors and whether they are in specific subject areas or in all 4 subject areas. The committee will also provide commentary with specific examples of how the student has demonstrated the behaviors in each category. Ms. Zamora, will you please put the link for the blank copy of the gifted behavior rating scale in the chat?
Yes.
Thank you. So who decides if the student is eligible for full-time services? A central screening committee is responsible for screening all files submitted by schools. Each member of the central screening committee must attend training to learn how to view all the types of data within a file holistically and consider the level of service that a student may need. Files are read independently by at least 6 committee members. What is the most important document in the screening file? A level 4 screening file is considered holistically. What I mean by holistically is this means the central selection screening committee reviews each document in the screening file to get a full picture of each child's abilities and potential. All materials are considered, and committee members do not assign more weight or value to one document or another. Although committee members may notice that a student might be well served by level 2 or level 3 services instead of the full-time program, screening for levels 2 and 3 happens at the local school and will not be included in ineligible letters from the level 4 process. Are eligibility decisions final? If a student is found eligible for full-time level 4 services, parents will receive a notification letter in the mail. They must sign the permission form accepting the full-time AAP services for their child. If the student is not found eligible for full-time AAP services, the parent or guardian will also receive a notification letter in the mail. This letter includes information about the appeals process. Families may submit a level 4 full-time screening referral form each year in grades 2 through 7. So what I mean by that is if you submit a screening file one year and it doesn't get accepted, you can still submit a screening file the following year. When do eligible students begin full-time AAP services? So FCPS students screened for full-time services in the spring screening cycle may begin full-time AAP services the following school year. So students who are new to FCPS may go through the fall screening cycle. If found eligible, they may begin full-time AAP services in the 2nd semester. Who can answer questions about the AAP screening process? The AART at the elementary school or me can answer questions. If you were looking for a middle schooler in your family, you would contact their AART or the director of student services. You can also visit the AAP website for more information or email the AAP office at aap@fcps.edu. At this time, we will stop the recording and take any questions that you have about